No. You see a polar bear? I don't know if you can run. You're dead if you see.
Oh yeah, I don't think. I think you're.
Dude, speaking of bears,
yes.
Did you hear about that bear attack that happened here in Prescott?
No.
There's this guy that owns some land in Prescott. He was out there, like in a camping chair, writing in his journal, and then this bear comes up and freaking guts him, cuts open his guts, like his stomach, scalped him, just went to town on him, man.
Like, why is it that hungry? UAPs, or is it something else?
And I'm torn to think that it's us, like it's the United States government, and it's private companies that have built these things, that have reverse engineered them. Because, based on what they're saying, I'm like, we've been doing this since the 30s. That means it's us. We have this technology, and we got it from aliens. Like we recovered crashed alien craft with biologics, which is such a dumb way to say living creatures.
Just say aliens. There's aliens in there. Dead aliens and alive aliens.
And I guess, like, maybe you don't want to say aliens because it sounds crazy.
Well, they don't want to get it confused with illegal aliens or something like that. You know what I mean?
That's true.
They're like, there was Mexicans in there? What's going on? There's Canadians over there? What's happening?
No, anytime someone says aliens, they're not thinking Canadians.
Yeah. I just had to say that to save my face.
Going to be a figure of 3 beer.
That's what I got. I got 3 beer.
You got 3
beer session too. I got 2 Modelos and a long.
We don't need product placement. They ain't paying us for shit. Oh, can you see the sweat stains in my hat?
Yeah, I did earlier.
I'll flip it around to be less sweat stained. I think it's still damp from when I worked on the swamp cooler.
Today?
No, like a week ago.
Oh.
2 weeks ago. Still, it's rough, man. It was such a crappy.
Is it hot there?
No, dude. I mean, like, storms just kicked in, man. So we're getting swamp. The monsoons.
Right. Like, when was the last time you guys got rain before these storms rolled in?
Oh, it was a while.
Yeah, because I think it was like 130 day for the valley anyway between the last time it rained.
Yeah, dude. We haven't had rain forever. Ever. It felt great.
But I want to say, like, it's kind of normal, right? It's not like we'll have. I think the last time we probably had rain was in March. March, April, May, June, July, like 4 months of no rain. Is that normal?
I think so. I mean, that's the definition of a desert, right? Like, it's not about the temperature. It's about, like, the lack of rain.
Right.
We're in the desert.
But, like, I know the heat is higher than it has. Like, I think we had the highest low in recorded history in the valley.
Right.
So it was I think the low was 97, and it's never been that high for a low before.
I feel like do you know how in sports they try to find a stat, and they're like, if you look at Tuesdays after 5 p.m., this is the most points that a team has ever scored in the last 20 years. Right? Like they have a goal to say 20 years, and so they go through and, like, pinpoint how can we get to this 20-year point, and it's
right.
It used to be, oh, this is the most points a team's ever scored. And it's like, no, this is the most points a team has ever scored on Thursday nights in November.
Right.
And you're like, come on, does that count then? And
are you saying that this is media related? Like, it's like they're just feeding us not real shit? Are you a global warming non-believer?
I'm definitely not, but I just find it, I don't know. It's just a weird stat. And actually, I mean, it is a basic stat. Like, oh, our low temperature has never been this high for this long before, Right. But it's just weird, Yeah. I can just see they're going to be stretching for, like, something else.
Yeah. They're trying to make a storyline of something maybe that isn't that big a deal. Maybe it was 96.5 was the highest low ever, and this was 97 or something like that.
Right. And maybe they're leaving out that, in the 90s, the temperature reading devices weren't so accurate. Thermometers is probably what those are called.
The temperature reading devices. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
But I do think about, like, global warming stuff, like, every once in a while. Like, sometimes I'm thinking, oh my God, like I feel like it's definitely hotter now in the summertime than when we were kids. But I'm also older and fatter, and I'm outside more working rather than playing.
Dude, so you and me, what are we, 10, 12 years old, whatever. We're outside. It's 122 degrees. They shut down Sky Harbor Airport, and we're, sitting outside on the asphalt, basketball shorts, no underwear on, seeing who can sit there the longest.
Right. Yeah.
That was, what was that, 1994?
No, that had to have been
92?
In the late 80s, maybe 89.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Time. It's all a blur.
Yeah. 94, I was in high school already, but I'm talking, when we were, 12 or so. I was 12 and you were probably 10, 9 or 10.
Yeah.
But we used to run.
You were in high school in 94?
Yeah.
You fucking old man.
I was a
dude.
sophomore.
You old ass man, dude. Jesus.
But remember, we used to run from my house from each other's houses. But for some reason, hey, let's not put on shoes. I'm just going to go to, Chris's house.
We planned it to not wear shoes. Yeah.
And I would just run from little patch of grass, a little patch of grass. And then these asshole neighbors started getting desert landscaping. So there was no grass. And then they would put up fences. So we had even a longer.
There was little patches
distance,
where we could get away with it.
Yeah. Patches of grass that grew on the sidewalk, you know what I mean? Through the cracks.
That was rough. But dude, it hasn't been freaking 122 degrees, maybe one other time since then.
Yeah, and it was recent history. I think it hit 122 in the last 5 years or so. But I just think that, it's fact though that the polar caps are melting though, right? Sure. They're smaller. I was watching this polar bear thing, these polar bear, there's villagers that are in Iceland that they always had polar bear watches. Somebody's job was to watch the edge of their town to make sure polar bears aren't coming close. But now these polar bears are starving. They can't get to their seals that they normally get to because the ice is too thin to walk over to them. And the seals know they're safe over there. So now these starving bears are coming into the village. And there was one story I was seeing that there's 50 bears, 50 hungry polar bears looking for food in the going through the village and shit. And people were freaking out and had to hide. Dude, and
you don't mess with polar bears, man.
Yeah, no,
those things will fuck you up, man. Yeah.
And they're known to hunt humans.
They're meat eaters.
Yeah,
dude, if they're eating a seal, seal is so fat intent. It's you don't mess. Dude, polar bears are ruthless. We think they're cute. It's the Coca-Cola thing, but dude, no. You see a polar bear, I don't know if you can run. You're dead if you see.
Oh yeah, I don't think I think you're screwed. Yeah, I don't know,
dude. I don't know. Speaking of bears,
yes.
Did you hear about that bear attack that happened here in Prescott?
No.
There's this guy that owns some land in Prescott, and I don't know where it was. If it's where you and I have camped,
right?
But he had some land, he bought it, and then he was him and his wife were going to build, and he was out there just kind of camping on it. It was county land. Sheriff's office shows up when all this shit went down, but he was out there in a camping chair, writing in his journal. He had his little fifth wheel trailer. It wasn't even a fifth wheel, little camper thing or whatever,
right?
And just sitting there, just writing, and then this bear comes up and attacks him. Freaking guts him, cuts open his guts, his stomach, scalped him.
What the hell?
Just went to town on him, man.
Why? Is it that hungry?
I don't know. But people were honking their horns because there's some people who saw it. They were leaving their house next door or something. And they're honking. This one guy ran inside, got his gun, shot the bear. But it was too late. The guy was, 30 seconds is, this guy was dead.
Right.
Probably.
Dude. And it's just a black bear, right? I'm assuming. That's all we really got here in Arizona.
Yeah, then it was
black bear.
I think you and I have talked about that. They look brown, but they're really black bear.
There's a movie I watched. It's called Ghosts in the Darkness, and it's about the Remington, the guy who invented the Remington gun, I guess, or was named after. And Val Kilmer's in it. Anyway, it's about these two guys on a safari, or they get called because there's these man hunting lions.
Okay.
That's the thing is once they start turning on, and that's what's happening all over our country right now, because these mountain lions are realizing that humans and dogs are easier prey than trying to catch a freaking antelope or a deer running.
We don't run that fast.
Yeah, we don't run too fast, and we got so all these. They're finding these mountain lions that are just so fucking just jacked and big and strong because they're so well fed, eating all these people's dogs and cats, and they're in neighborhoods in California because like the neighborhoods are taking over there where they were.
We've just encroached. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And now they're there, and they're like they have to have these people come and hunt them, like find them, and because they're literally killing every dog in the neighborhood and attack and trying to drag kids away from the like kids will be jumping on the trampoline and they're grabbing them and shit.
Jesus. So,
I mean, it's it's kind of fucking scary. Like,
isn't it like that with even pets? I feel like if a cat starts eating birds, like the first time they get a bird,
right,
then they're just they're always getting birds. Then that's their thing. Like you know, and yeah, it makes sense, dude. Once they realize, I can eat that. That tastes good.
Well, even like coyotes in our neighborhood here, you know what I mean? Like we got wild coyotes just around our neighborhood, and like all of a sudden people's chihuahuas are disappearing and shit like that, or they're coming in through doggy doors and eating dogs and shit, eating people's dogs. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what happens when we start spreading ourselves too much and entering their territory. But
dude, I don't know what I would do if a coyote came through my dog door. Like, what would I do? I mean, I would run.
I feel like
there's nothing. It's so much faster than me.
I know, but like, can we take a coyote? Like, I know I can't take a bear or a mountain lion, but like, can I defend myself from a coyote?
Oh, sure, dude. I can, like, it's a dog, right? I mean, even it's going to get its licks in.
Because I think it's smaller than like a pit bull or something.
Sure.
I mean, they're not
scrawny.
huge dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like testing backflow with my, when I work for my dad. There was one time I'm testing a backflow and I'm on my butt, so I can't I'm not in a position to where I'm squatting or I'm standing.
Totally.
I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground testing the backflow.
You are prey at this point.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's fucking like there's a little wash area, right? And then there's two holes that go underneath the street, and that thing just starts prancing out, and I'm thinking, oh shit, there's a coyote, and then that one walks out, and then another one, and they look well fed. They weren't scrawny and skinny. They look like they were good size. Remember my dog Mocha?
Yeah,
I would say they were at least that size.
Oh, dude.
Walking out, and I'm thinking, oh shit, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't, like, my legs are crossed, I cannot get up. I'm all, and plus
Your
I'm
legs
like
asleep, dude.
200 pounds, and I'm trying to roll over. I'm a fat guy, have to roll over to get on my knees to get up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm thinking, oh god, I'm gonna die. So I stood up so I can try to, if I need to run or grab my screwdriver to
Dude, how close are they to you?
They were
when they're coming out.
Maybe when the holes were probably 10 feet from me, but down. So like it was 10 feet across, but like 3 feet into the wash.
So you got the high ground on them at least.
Yeah. So they started walking, and they probably came as close as 6 or 7 feet, and then veered into the neighborhood. So I finished testing that one, and I go test other ones that are in the neighborhood, and I see this guy has his 2 little chihuahuas. He's walking, and I told him, hey, I don't want to worry you, but there was two coyotes that really just walked by me, so making your dog's easy prey, so be careful. He's like, he picks them up and says, thank you very much. He starts going to dude, I when I work for my dad, I'm so vulnerable because I'm fat, right? I'm older, and I don't move as fast. Like, and I have to sit on my butt because like I can't bend over for more than 30 seconds without my back or neck hurting. So
sure.
I get level with these backflows, and I sit on my butt. And one time I'm also this freaking roadrunner, man. Roadrunner. So and it was a big roadrunner. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there testing the backflow, and this thing comes right at my face. And it's like giving me that one side eyeball.
Totally.
And I'm like, oh shit, this thing was fucking pick my eyeballs out right now. So I'm trying to like back up a little bit, but it was like getting way too close for comfort. Because, I'm not like, who's afraid? If I'm standing up, I'm not afraid of a roadrunner. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it might be there. I'll be able to kick it. But I'm like cross-legged again, and I'm on my butt, and I'm very vulnerable. So I have my screwdriver, and I'm like, don't fucking come near me. I'll stab you.
You got one shot, and then you're like, crap.
But yeah. So yeah, I feel like I need to be better at what I do.
Dude, I think like one coyote you could fend off one coyote. You know, like I said, it's going to get its licks in on you. Two, they know how to attack. I feel like, man, like one's gonna, you're gonna be, oh shit, focused on this one, and suddenly that one's flanking you. It's coming around. You're like, oh fuck, dude, I'm dead. You're like, if there's three, forget about it. Just take a shit, and hopefully they eat the shit. Dang, dude, you sent me that link. For the Senate hearing on UAPs, UFOs, pretty much, right?
Right.
I'm shocked. Like, I didn't really do any other reading after that. Well, I take it back. I tried to search once, and there wasn't a lot of like news on it.
Yeah,
like there was nothing.
Like, there was article. Like, if you Googled it, there's a bunch. Like, every news organization did an article on it. You know what I mean? Or have a
it was all the same, like the 5 takeaways from the Senate hearing on UAPs.
Exactly. A 3-hour hearing. And you know what I mean? Like, but every, like, if you look at like Twitter and all these things, everybody's saying, oh my God, the government acknowledged that there's UFOs and aliens and nobody cares. But like, I think people are hearing it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going on deaf ears at all right now. I think everybody's heard this, but they just, I think people just don't give a shit.
That's so weird, man.
Isn't it?
Right? Everything is
like do they not believe it still? Are they like saying, nah? I mean, like these 3 guys are very credible witnesses.
So, What was covered in there? Like, we should probably mention what they said.
Yeah, it was pretty much, how they had that pre-hearing back in December or something. When did they have that pre-hearing? And I think we had talked about that pre-hearing. But they still talk about how...
I was 11 or 12, dude. I can't tell time. I have no idea. Go ahead. I wasn't, but you know what I'm saying? It was...
No. They had the pre-hearings in December or something like that, right?
Right.
So... they still kind of talked about the same things with the them being aggressive and people being murdered over keeping the secrets. They weren't able to answer a lot of questions. I don't know if you noticed, like, he's like, I can't answer this question in a public setting.
Yep.
But I wonder if they were acting like they're going to talk later about it and let them know more detail. You know what I mean? And pretty much they're almost trying to get, I felt like the way I understood it is they're trying to get Congress to protect these people so they can come forward with information. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to, they can't mention anybody's names. They can't say who their witnesses are because people have been murdered over this secret. So, people don't want to come forward because they're scared. And these people aren't just Joe Schmoes who are crazy alien hunters. You know what I mean? They're real people. They're real credible people.
I wonder, can our government even protect those people from the government? Right.
Well, and
senators, they create laws. They do these hearings. Like, even that hearing is. I always feel like those are kind of a joke, right? You're requested to appear. You can even be subpoenaed, and I think
you're under oath.
Right, but even then you could say, I'm not going to come still. And then like this, and it has to go to court to try to force you to do it. And they might not do it. It's all like a freaking horse and pony show kind of thing.
Right.
Like, and you are under oath. But even then, I think they have to, I mean, has anyone really ever been in trouble for lying?
Well, yeah, they have if they straight out lied. But I was watching, listen, a lot of people don't like AOC. I like her a lot. I like her because I think I can see why people don't like her sometimes because she's kind of crazy, but I like how she uses that Twitter platform or whatever, social media to explain shit. Like, she had a string of like 15, 20 videos explaining how she felt and where she stood on that hearings that she was a part of, and how she was saying that, like, she was saying that this is actually connected and highlighted. Like, her main concern isn't the aliens in this. It's the the $800 billion that we spend on our defense contracts
Sure.
and stuff.
Sure.
And 400 billion, half of the 800 billion goes to private defense contracts. You know what I mean? So 400 billion is accountable for our government spending, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other 400 billion is money that private contractors are working with that we don't know. And that I guess they get audited all the time and they fail every single audit. They can't explain where the money goes, or they won't explain where the money goes.
Sure.
And that's $400 billion. And that's why she was saying, that's why, you know, people say we can't afford a healthcare acts and stuff when we're just throwing $400 billion to private companies. You know, and that's what she was saying. She was that's what it's all connected. She thinks, you know, are these private sectors creating these UAPs? UAPs? Is that what we call them? UAPs, or is it something else? But you know, so she's skeptical still, but that's where she's going with this. She said
that was one of the things that, and I'm torn to think that it's us, like it's the United States government, and its private companies that have built these things, that have reverse engineered them. Because, you know, based on what they're saying, I'm like, you know, we've been doing this since the 30s pretty much. And I'm like, oh, totally. That means it's us. We have this technology and we got it from aliens. Like we recovered crashed alien craft with biologics, which is such a dumb way to say living creatures or, you know, some form of living creature, whatever.
Yeah. They called it non-human biologics or something like that.
Like, right.
Just say aliens. There's aliens in there, dead aliens and alive aliens.
And I guess like maybe you don't want to say aliens because it sounds crazy.
Right.
You know, you want to say,
well, they don't want to get it confused with illegal aliens or something like that. You know what I mean?
That's true. But
they're like, there was Mexicans in there? What's going on? There's Canadians over there? What's happening?
No, anytime someone says aliens, they're not thinking Canadians.
I just had to say that to save my face. I mean, I am a moralist, by the way. So
I know. No, it's just it's the way people are in the States. But then there's so, okay, sure. Maybe it's us. Maybe we are building this thing, but then who's flying it? Right. Who like what government agency, what secret agency, what private agency that's under some other secret umbrella,
right,
you know, of the government that's dumb enough to like fly them around Florida, to fly them around the coast of San Diego. Well, and so they're getting caught.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's why I think that it's not. That's why, like, there's like the military tests their new technology all the time. You know what I mean? But they don't go and surprise test and play chicken with real multi-million-dollar airplanes. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's not what they do normally. You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of what they were talking to as well. Is like, hey, like any normal tests that the government does with secret technology, you don't go and mess with other people's, you know, other divisions of military multi-million-dollar aircrafts and
unless they want to test.
Yeah.
Like how this new style of craft interacts with older style airplanes, right? Like,
right.
There's no way that jets can turn on a dime, right? It just doesn't.
Yeah. They need a 10-mile radius of turn, you know?
Right. Yeah. Huge amounts. And so they're just able to do, and if it's like the stuff that frickin' Lazar was talking about, where it has like this kind of anti-gravitational, like kind of field in front of it where it displaces gravity and like there is no inertia. There's like, you're not affected by physics of, you know, then what would it do to missiles? What would it do to bullets? What would it, like, it can do,
well, and
it can react way faster.
That you know, that guy, one of those guys has a degree in physics. He's a physicist, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And he was saying it's not, what they're able to do is not in our realm of technology yet. Which maybe as far as he knows. And if we are stealing this tech, I mean, if we are reverse engineering, that still means that there's aliens. You know what I mean? That they're still, they got it from somewhere, whether it's our people or not.
Like that's the one takeaway for sure. These people are saying we have crashed. We have recovered crashed alien craft, and we're trying to reverse engineer it.
Yes.
Like that, I feel.
But they were also saying that it wasn't always just crashed. It was almost like they were given to us, right? I remember hearing something about that. Like
I didn't hear this.
We were almost given these things, you know. But I think it's so. I like. God, I just really want aliens to come, and I hope they're. I mean, I prefer them to be nice and and help us. And maybe it's global warming they're trying to save us from, or from ourselves in other ways. You know what I mean? And you know what? I always hear that argument is like, if they're so intelligent, we're just ants to them. Why would they even care about us? To me, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you be curious about a lower life form? You don't give a shit. I mean, humans. First of all, you don't know how they think. But if you were to think, hey, do they think like humans at all? If so, that's even to me. I mean, we always study primates and apes and gorillas and all kinds of lower life forms on this planet. We're always studying them and looking at them. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't an alien do the same thing? You know what I mean?
Right. Like, especially if you knew, like where if they've been around for millions of years longer than us, and they know that, hey, we have this specific, like maybe there's 3 different friggin' avenues we can go down as a species, right? We can destroy ourselves. We can just kind of be middle of the road and just kind of survive for a long time, and like growth is going to be super slow, or we can make this giant leap and like be this like amazing species. And it's like they just need a hand. They just need to be told how to do it.
I mean, or what if we're all fucked here soon, and they're just trying to see who they want to throw on the ark. You know what I mean? Because maybe they want to preserve our humanity and move us to another planet. I know.
They know the asteroid's coming.
Yeah, or that
like 50,000 years.
Yeah, or that the Yellowstone super volcano is going to explode any second now. You know what I mean? I just watched a documentary on that, and that's going to fuck us all. You know what I mean? And that can happen anywhere from in 2 seconds to a million more years. You know what I mean? But
where's Yellowstone? Is that that's
Wyoming?
Isn't
it Wyoming? But yeah, we're fucked. There's no like it'll take out all the surrounding states. It's like instantly.
Not just from the really.
Yeah, instantly. 4 surrounding states. I think it goes down all the way to Colorado and up. Everything around it disintegrated. And then it goes. I was looking at Arizona on the map, of course, and I'm like, oh, okay, we won't die instantly. I almost kind of wish we would die instantly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna be
the power grid is fucked.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying is like, and that's with a lot of things. They're saying that like, with the solar flares or major solar flares or even major earthquakes or anything can fuck our power grid up. And if we don't, imagine Arizona with no power, you know what I mean? Especially the valley. You know what I mean? We wouldn't make it past the summer. We'd all be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand how we ever made it through a summer without air conditioning in Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it
doesn't make sense.
Cooler, but still, like no power. Like you don't,
dude, I'm talking like in the 40s, right? I mean,
yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Arizona became a state in, what is it, 1914, 1916, something like that, right?
No, it was like, was it?
I feel
like it was even sooner than that. Like, when was Hawaii?
That was in the 40s. They were last.
40s. That was 40s. Yeah.
Like late 48.
Alaska and Hawaii
they were ratified at the same time. Yeah.
I don't know if this beer tastes. Going from longboard to Modelo.
Oh no,
makes me wonder if I don't know.
They're both malty.
I'm just wondering if I'm drinking a rotten beer. That'd be funny.
I just bought these today. I paid a fortune for them.
Yeah,
it's like $20 for a freaking 12-pack.
Really?
It's dumb. Yeah. Well, like AM PM too, so it's not. I'm not going to Fry's where it's a little cheaper. Fry's is like 5 minutes further. I'll spend the $5 extra.
See, if the shit hits the fan, I'll be in Prescott, or we'll have to beat somewhere. I'm going up north though, bringing all my guns and going up north. I got to get out of the heat. You know what I mean? Like if the grid goes down, I mean, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of the valley.
You can build a fire to be warmer, but you can't. Like you can't cooling off is going to be impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is fucking desert, and there's no like. At least up north, there might be animals I can catch and eat or something.
Yeah.
You know,
We'd have to go where there's water.
Yeah.
That's you'd have to go. I mean, shit, if Colorado's destroyed, what are you going to do?
Ugh. Dude, but the thing is,
we're fucked because there's going to be a cloud,
it's a
right?
nuclear winter. Yeah, it's literally going to be, well, and that's another thing with like people always say, you know, that's people who don't believe in global warming is they say, you know, well, the earth has always gone through these hot and cold, and you know how many ice ages did we have or whatever. But a lot of they say that a lot of these ice ages happen because of these super volcanoes or meteors crashing, creating a nuclear winter. You know, where this blocked the sun for years. You know what I mean? Because the cloud of ash, and then they see these layers of ash. So that was one thing that they were talking about for this documentary I was watching, how, you know, 1,000 miles away, they can see you know, there's places where they found where there's, you know, 3 foot of ash, you know, from the previous time it blew, you know what I mean? So, and then even drilling into Antarctica's ice, you know, because they look and see what the atmosphere was at certain points, how deep they are, you know. And they said they can, you know, they're finding the sulfur particles or whatever in the ice from those explosions. Because what it does is that it's a lot of sulfur that blows up, and then it goes and it mixes with water, and it makes the acid rain, and it kills everything and everybody. And you know, all the water's effed, everything's screwed. You know, just we're effed when it blows. So maybe the aliens are here, trying to find a few chosen ones to take to our colony on, you know, a few galaxies away and start over. I've seen that movie. It was a good one. Nicolas Cage. I forget what it's called.
I don't think that would. I mean, that's not what they're doing.
Why not?
There's no way.
Why not? Why? I mean, like would we do that would we, if we were able to do that, and we were a higher intelligence, and we knew there was another planet that was doomed, we wouldn't do that? Or we would just let them be doomed and be done?
No, we do that now.
Have fun. Yeah, we do that with other countries. You know what I mean? Like,
or no, we do that with other species, right?
Yeah.
Like we find like the dodo bird or some shit, and then
in other countries we take refugees too. You know what I mean? Like, it's people and animals and everything. Like, you know, we do that. So why wouldn't another alien species care about us at all? You know what I mean? They wouldn't be like, all right, bye, have fun. Your time is over.
Wouldn't they just take us then? Like, why would they give us the craft though? Right? Why would they? And maybe they have, you know, but
maybe they're trying to help us. Yeah. Maybe they're helping us with an escape plan. You know, who knows? Of course, they're not helping you and I. They're helping. It's still only going to be the rich and powerful that get to be saved, because those are the ones who can afford anything.
Right. Well, dude, it's even weird. If they're that smart, then why would they give it to
them? Those type of people.
Yeah, if that's their goal, why?
The shitty people.
Well, I mean, governments are getting it, right? And obviously, they're the ones with the means to do it. You know, dude, if an alien craft, if we're out camping and one just appeared and was like, they're like, here, this is yours.
Yeah, we're like, what do I do with it?
We're not going to know what to do with it, right?
Yeah, shit, I would get all up in it. I'm like, what does this do? Pink. Oh shit, light years away, dude. I would do that. Dude, I would not tell anybody. I'd keep it.
Where would you hide it?
Dude, I'd find a place. I'd have to.
No, yeah. I'm just saying.
Do you got to use a manual? I mean, what do these buttons do? I don't know. Maybe they would teach us. Maybe they
would
your
hand on something and like downloads the instructions in your brain. Yeah. You just know. You walk in, you're like, oh, it's speaking to me. I know. Just
dude, God, that's like a dream, dude. I would love to do that. I would want that to happen. I would totally want that.
Dude, going back to the news thing.
Oh, yeah,
same. Dude, but Kim's going to come home tomorrow, and I'm going to say, did you know that, like, pretty much we have craft? And dude, I'm not a fool to have these 3 people talk in front of the Senate. It's not like it's the government is admitting that we have these things, right?
And that's what, yeah.
But I don't know, man.
But our government is giving these people a platform. You know what I mean? Like, or like, and they're asking the right questions, and they seem really interested, because like, and that was another thing that AOC was saying, that, you know, you're under oath, so it means more if you're coming forward and doing this under oath. But she was saying also at the same time, you can't get in trouble for perjury if you really believe something. You know what I mean? Like you're not lying. You just really believe this. You know what I mean? You're not
It's
a liar.
your truth, kind of. As cheesy it is to say that.
So,
yeah.
And that's why it kind of saves people. And that's why people are kind of like, oh, this could be anything. I mean, like I keep saying, these witnesses are credible witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They really, really are. And I really hope that. So what I was kind of feeling, I think there's going to be another hearing over this. This isn't the end of it. So hopefully we get more answers sooner than later. I really, really hope.
And hopefully these people that really know can say stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Can come out and say, this is where it's at. It's here. This is the person that heads the organization. You need to talk to Steve. And then you come to find out that it's, they follow the chain and, freaking Defense Department does come out and say, you guys were talking about that thing? Oh, we didn't know that's what you meant. Oh yeah. No, we've been doing that shit since the 30s. Yeah.
Well, even I really think that I bet you, this is what I bet. I bet that our government a lot of our government, I'm sure there's people in our government that knows something, but that's why these private companies are doing it all. So that so they're able to hide it. You know what I mean? Like they're doing it because they're able to hide it. I think our government's hands in it is limited.
Sure.
I really do. Because there's the paper trail for everything, and they'd be able to track, right now they know 400 billion goes to these private companies, but that's it. They audit them. They won't explain anything on where any of that money goes.
And they're not going to get in trouble for having failing an audit.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's no big deal.
Yep.
So and dude, for sure that's why they're using private company. I mean, or it's a byproduct of using a private company, right? Like if any private company is going to do a better job than the government to develop new technology. I mean, look at what SpaceX has been able to do versus what NASA was able to do, right? Like there's a limit. And even then NASA partnered with a ton of private companies just to get to the moon, just to get into freaking space,
Right.
So, but it's when, a freaking company's going to, is going to come out and say, hey, I will build you this rocket for, $12 billion or whatever. And it's like, well, they have to do it in 12 with only 12 billion. Sure, there's overages and they're going to do it for 22, but it's different than, government's just going to do it. And, like the company doesn't want to fail because they want to get the next contract. And so,
right. But what's scary, I think, is that when the government's hands are on it, there's probably more moral, like they play by the rules probably more so than a private company has. You know what I mean? A private company with unlimited funds can do whatever they want. You know what I mean? They don't have to answer to anybody. They just do.
What do you mean?
They could, they just they don't have the rules that the government has. They have their own rules. They're a private company. They can do whatever they want and they have unlimited funds. Like if anybody's getting murdered, I bet you the murdering is being done by these private companies, not by the government. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're able to do what they want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. We have them. We fucking have them.
It's happening.
We have them.
I just want to see them now, though. Like, dude, I'm telling you. So it's so shitty because, on my Facebook and anything, Twitter or Instagram or anything I'm on, it's all aliens. Like, besides the animal attacks I have every once in a while, or a
busty
fight.
Latinas.
Yeah, exactly. Or like all of a sudden, hey, there's big asses on this. Okay, my algorithm is a mix, but a big part of it is the freaking aliens. So I always see blurry images and shit. Like I just want to see real shit. You know what I mean? And then I'll see a really clear, good image. I'm like, is this fake? Is this real? I don't know. I just really want real. That's all. So I want real. I want to see it. I want to see it with my own eyes, so I can film it myself and make a grainy video.
Totally.
But if I saw
It
something,
can't focus.
yeah, if I saw something and I'm filming it, at least you would know it's real. I'm like, Chris, this is real. I filmed this. You know what I mean? So then you would be convinced because technology is great. I mean, like AI, all this stuff can do whatever people want. So that's why, like, seeing these videos or seeing these pictures, what percent of that stuff is real? And I'm sure a big bulk of it's bullshit, but
It has to be less than 1%, right?
yeah. Well,
For every 100 videos, you think one is real or less than one? And we haven't seen all of the videos, right?
right, yeah, or like if Mo was saying, when we talk about it, like our internet is censored. You know what I mean? They don't let us see anything. Anything that is really good or damaging could be blocked or hidden or taken off. You know what I'm saying?
It's private companies.
Yep, exactly. And they're all owned by the probably same people. All these big, Facebook and all that stuff. But I bet you deep down, everybody's kind of owned by the same 1%.
Yeah. Well, and also they're really all connected to the government, right? There was one thing when Elon Musk came and bought Twitter. There was this whole thing about
X?
the Twitter files. I know it's called X now, right? Yeah, whatever.
I don't know.
Which is cool. He's like, hey, it's all his brand, SpaceX, X. It's all the same. But how back when Jack Dorsey owned it, where was the CEO, whatever, how intertwined the government was with Twitter and how they were able to say, oh, we want you to silence this guy or ban this guy or do this, do that.
Right.
And so if, dude, a giant backbone of the internet is ran through Google. Like even like one of the early stages of getting to a website is done through through DNS servers. And that's where, like, if you have a domain name, if you have google.com, that really points to an IP address. But because it's through a DNS server, the friendly name of google.com, you're saying, hey, no, this .com goes to this server at this IP. That's where I want you to send it.
Right.
That whole DNS, like, all of that's Google, man. I mean, it's I don't know what the percentage is, but it's like they provide a free DNS server that's super fast, and there's a reason why they do it. It's to capture information, to be able to, I'm sure, to censor information as well. Like that's just what Google does, and that's only like the basic level of shit that I'm aware of. So they have to do way more censoring.
What was it before Google? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, what did we use before Google? Like what was DNS? Controlling the internet? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Google controls all of the internet.
No, I think, dude, I'm going to sound dumb when I say this, but it really is just like an open network, right? So, like, I don't even know, like you, dude, I don't know, right? So, like a DNS server, like, and it's not just one server, right? Or it's like it's propagated throughout just everywhere. And I don't know how it works, but it's like I know I can just build a server and say, this is the IP address of this server. It's like I can ask for an IP. Like, someone controls, I don't know if it's ICANN that controls that. I know they do domain name stuff, but yeah, I don't know who did it before, but it really, I mean, Google made it better, right? I mean, all these big tech companies came in because before it was just a bunch of freaking universities running it, and then it just steamrolled. And then dude, even back in the day, like, when you bought a domain name, it took, I don't know, 24 to 48 hours for it to propagate across the world. And it would be slow. Like, Chicago might get it first, and then LA would get it. Like, there was all these zones that would kind of happen. And then finally, like, Europe's going to get it within 36 hours. Now it's instant. Like, they still say it's going to take 24 hours, but it's like 12 minutes,
Right. Yeah.
Because things are so fast now. So I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that I don't think we'll ever probably get answers. I mean, more likely, I think we're all going to die before anything happens. What do you think? You think it's coming? I mean, do you think it's coming?
Like, answers about aliens?
Yeah. Or yeah, exactly. I mean, like, do you think our country will collapse before we have any answers? You know what I mean?
Dude, again, answers about aliens?
Answers about anything. Like everything we don't know. I feel like that.
Well, yeah, then of course it'll collapse before then.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
mean, because there's always going to be shit we don't know. But I mean, if we're going to ask something specific and say aliens,
okay, aliens or lost civilizations, or how many times this world reset, I think people know those answers. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Sure.
they know these lost civilizations that are way older than what we think history goes back to. You know what I mean? Like,
right, but they're stopping it from getting into but common knowledge.
Yeah, but they're doing that because that's how they control us. They have to talk, they have to use the Bible and stick to the Bible's rules, because that's what religion is all controlling. Government, religion, it all controls everything. So
I can't wait for aliens to come out, man,
dude,
for this to be real. And then
can you imagine?
Dude, I was taking a piss before we started today, and I was like, what does this mean for religion?
Dude,
like
I know, but still, like, since there's nothing came out of this hearing besides, what was already said. You know what I mean? It was a 3-hour. I think the other hearing was a way quicker hearing, and they kind of no, it wasn't a hearing. It was the article he did, or the interview he did, right? The guy. That's what we
David
talked
Grush.
about before. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He did an interview with some Fox thing, right? And then it was like news. Kind of put out a small amount of information, and this was just 3 hours of that information. Like, they were saying, did you see the part where there was a red craft as big as a football field that came from the ocean and was fucking with a Navy base or some Army base or some military base, and then boom, was gone. Like, and but the thing is like, where are all these people that were on the base? Like, how
That's
come?
What I'm thinking.
Like, how come
be
people
1,000 people there?
This shit? You know what I mean?
Or 100 people.
Even if it's 100, you know what I mean?
Dude, in that same sense, I read that they're like, if you want to be made fun of, or like if you witness something like that and you still want to have a career, you do not talk about it.
Right.
You don't mention it. You don't.
Well, but what about the people who don't give a fuck? Like, I'm sure people on that base who are just mechanics, who just work on a plane or just a tank or a car, or cleans the toilets. You know what I mean? What about those people? Those people don't give a fuck. They don't have a career path that they care. You know what I mean? I want to be cleaning these military toilets forever. You know what I mean? So why aren't those people coming forward? Like, why don't we hear common people talk about these that were on
but we realize they're common people, right? Like, I mean, how many? Well, no, because they're like, oh yeah, this thing came into my backyard, and I said, Ma, do you see this? Yeah, Ma, I see this too. Like, what are we gonna do? And
I asked my mom, who's also my sister and cousin, but they said,
Jimmy, get in the house.
And then they whooped me with the switch because they said I was on them drugs, But I don't. Yeah. I mean, like that's what I wonder. Like, I mean, if something the size of a football field flew onto any kind of military base, not everybody on that military base is high level. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of scrubs.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? And
where are a bunch of mid-level people that are like well-spoken, that people can take seriously, that they're educated. They're like, nah, fuck this government shit. I'm going to go, work in the private sector. And so then, their 4 years are up, they go out and then they can talk about it. But
I mean, they sign NDAs and stuff, and maybe they're being threatened for all kinds of stuff. Maybe that's it. And that would be enough, I guess. You know what I mean? If they're saying, hey, if you ever say this, you and your family's going to die. So you make your mind up what you want to talk. But will that work for everybody? I mean, like, there's got to be people who don't give a shit.
Right.
And those people end up dead.
Dude, I bet. Like, government is slow. David Grush came out and talked, what is it, like a month ago, by now, or maybe more, 6 weeks ago. Freaking David Fravor, who was one of the guys in the Senate meeting, whatever, has been talking about it. I think that shit went down, like the whole Tic Tac thing was like 2006, 2009, something like that. So we're talking, 15 years almost, or 12 years or something. So I bet in the next 5 years, with how slow government works, something's going to come out, and it's something has to, man. It's one of two things. Or I guess it could be one of three things, right? It's ours, it's another country's, which we're fucked if that's the case, or it's aliens.
Right.
Which, I mean, who knows what boat we're in then. But
or it
that
could be
has
all
to come
three.
out.
It could be it's ours and it's another country's.
That's what
but
Grush
we
was
all
saying,
got it.
right?
We all got it from the aliens. But the thing is like when that happens in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, like what does that do to religion? What does that do to like what they control us with? You know what I mean? Like how are they going to, I mean, like I almost feel like at this point, if I was religious, I'd be like, I would already be convinced to not be religious at this point. You know what I mean? Because something's happening that's not God. You know what I mean? That's not, that's going against that. We're the special ones and we're the only ones that have any power, or, we're the only ones with any brains in this entire universe,
I can see it being construed in some way where, I mean, dude, probably like the bulk of the stories and like information in the Bible is like BS, like dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense. There's probably a handful of things where you're like, okay, no, I can see that's okay. I can see why that works or whatever, right?
right.
And, it's all the stuff that we always hear about. We Psalm 3, blah blah blah, whatever. Like I don't read the
Right.
Bible, but that's just one. Like we've for my entire life, I've probably heard about 20 or 25 different stories from the Bible. I bet you there's 100 in there. What about the other 75 that are bullshit? You know what I mean? Well, like
Right.
those are the ones we don't talk about. And then like there's Old Testament, that's totally way different. Let's not even talk about that.
Our Revelations, the end of the world times and the way they talk, there's things that but we don't talk about that.
Sure.
We don't talk about those parts.
I can see they can just make something up, man. That like, well, this just goes to show how God, like we're the chosen ones because we're so special. And that's why God allowed these aliens to come and give us these craft. And
right.
because we need this and
or these aliens are angels, you know what I mean? Or, maybe, then it's just worshiping aliens, right? Then that's what they just turn to. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
I don't think they're going to worship aliens.
God was an alien
no
the whole time. So that's what we're worshiping.
Dude,
I mean, if you think about it, that's what history has gone. I mean, that's where I believe religion had come from, is because aliens have always been around and interacted, and they were just gods to us, and we made religions out of it. I mean, because there's truth behind all these stories. I think there's some sort of truth somewhere, and it's most likely an alien coming down, and spaceships or anything.
Right, but that's not how religion.
That's how the story.
Like,
that's how the stories start. Is what I'm saying. That's how the stories start. If Jesus is an alien and he's walking on water, maybe he wasn't necessarily walking on water, but he was. I don't know. Maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe it's something aliens can do.
Or it's a slogan or a phrase, right? Like that whole beating a dead horse kind of thing, right? Like we're not actually beating a dead horse. We're just saying, hey, we're just talking too much about this topic. And so like maybe walking on water means like, oh, this guy can't do anything wrong, or he's like he's perfect or whatever. It's different.
Which is the saying. Like, oh, what do you think? You walk on water?
Sure.
That is a saying. But like,
but that's maybe that's what we made it. That's what I'm saying. Or like we that's what we mean it as today, probably because of the Bible. But it like maybe it meant something else back then.
But wouldn't it be sense if you get a bunch of people who their brains aren't developed as much as we are yet, and all of a sudden something comes from the sky, lands, but they can't comprehend because they don't know what this is or how it's even happening. So now it's oh my God, it's a God, it's God, it's and now with this,
I agree with you
100 through history,
100%. Like aliens are way more likely than whatever the Bible is telling us or whatever religion is telling us, right? That makes way more sense. But that's not the story, right? You ask any religious person, is an alien your God? No, it's not. It's not. Like, why would you ever say that? Do what we got to do is find someone who's religious, who is also open-minded, that likes aliens, and then ask, like, how does this intersect? Like, what? Like, how does this fuck up your world, man?
Do you know anybody like that?
No,
I don't know it. Like I would think my brother, but I don't know if he's very open-minded like that. Maybe James.
James is religious?
I think he was or has been.
See, but he's open to ghosts, like religious people, like they believe in
Dude,
ghosts.
but so am I. I'm open to ghosts too. So,
No, but he like, well, I guess you fully believe too. Yeah,
I do. So fuck you. I do. All right. So, but I can believe in ghosts, and I can believe in aliens, and I can believe in
Bigfoot,
and I can believe
we
in
go down a list.
Lizard people,
right,
reptilians. I mean, like, but okay. So tell me this, Chris. Tell me this. If there's such thing as aliens, doesn't that like kind of like open up the possibility for all these other weird things to be happening, like an alien species among us that, you know, a reptilian species alien, or, you know what I mean? Like, it could be like, doesn't it kind of open up Pandora's box where there's a lot more things possible once these aliens come down?
Yeah, but so maybe in the same light of that's not what this, like, what they're saying about reptilian people, right? Like it's implied, or they mention that, you know, there's underground tunnels, and like there's giant colonies of them, and I don't think that that's true. I mean, could there be reptilian people like that came down from space, and the closest thing that we can relate them to is some kind of reptile? Sure, but I don't think they're underground tunnels. Like, so it's like back to the Bible or back to religion. The story that they're telling isn't really what happened. Like, sure, could it all be alien based? Okay, yeah, like could aliens have come down, and that's what we're really worshiping, but over time it changed, and now religion took over, and it's like, no, we're gonna tithe, and then we'll tell you the truth. And
but even if Chris, like, so if, say, aliens come down, I think it still opens up. What if these reptilians are interdimensional travelers? Do you know what I mean? And that's what they say these aliens might be, interdimensional travelers. What if there's like a gate that's underground, and it's not necessarily under our ground, but it's like it goes into some other dimension, and then you're into a whole other area, and maybe that's what all these underground things are. It's just another dimension. I mean, I all I'm saying is that once aliens land, everything else is possible. All this crazy shit. What if Bigfoot is just like the lizard people, and he's just an interdimensional traveler?
Dude, if aliens exist, or even if these craft exist, right, it puts physics on its head, right? Or what we understand physics to be. Or maybe not, man. Or really, because I mean, if I mean, we just have to rethink what's possible, right? But I mean, I don't like to think that we could just do just believe anything and everything at that point, like just to be like, well, anything's possible. There could be alien people. What's like if there's tunnels with alien with lizard people? I don't know. We got like sonar or whatever, like LiDAR that flies over to find tunnels and mountains.
They're not really in our. They might just be doorways. They're maybe not really underneath us, our Earth's surface. They could just be doorways to another dimension. Either way, I think that if I just like it, with any other scientific discovery, it just opens up so many other things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at one time they thought the sun revolved around the Earth. Well, we revolve around the sun, and we realized that there's 9 other planets that revolve around the sun. And then that was it. That's all they think. And then we realized, oh shit, every single one of those stars that we see could be just entire galaxies or universes. You know what I mean? Like, it just keeps growing and growing and growing in possibilities for everything that we learn. So it's possible once these motherfucking aliens come down, it might open up some other possibilities. It might explain a lot of things. That's all. It might explain things.
I just, my brain doesn't go there. Maybe I'm envious of your open-mindedness.
Yeah,
I don't see it that way.
I'm just saying it may explain things. That's all. I'm just saying, oh, maybe this guy isn't that crazy because aliens are landing, and now all of a sudden we realize, oh, there's interdimensional travelers that's been among us this entire time as well. And it's the lizard people or Bigfoots of the world, or skinwalkers, or whatever else there is out there that people are scared of. Think about it.
I'll think about it.
Doesn't skinwalkers make sense? I
don't even know what skinwalkers are.
Skinwalkers,
I don't even know.
Like,
I don't care.
There's things that like shapeshifters or whatever that like Native American cultures believe in, like these shapeshifters, skinwalkers. that take on different forms, and maybe that's just aliens living amongst us. Maybe it's just that. Because wouldn't that make sense that they've always been like? Can't they always have been around us now?
Dude,
I mean, like,
I just had a thought. Like one of the thoughts I've had, like even with the Bible, right? Of why would God, Jesus, whatever, like be so in the mix early on in human civilization, right? Or like how bad were things back then that they thought that Jesus needed to show up and like try to change the direction of society, versus today? I'm like, well, it must have been way worse than freaking shit today, right?
right.
And then if we think about Native Americans and shapeshifters, and all of these other stories that we see about, like, you know, aliens or whatever, and it's like, well, why did they choose that time to come over and show themselves? But isn't that what they're doing now? By this giant 100-yard red craft coming over some freaking base and just hovering for 30 seconds and fucking around and then, you know, taking off and leaving.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe because we are at that point where we're really shitty again. You know what I mean? What if, you know, because if you think about, like, you're thinking, how bad could they have been back then when Jesus, we could have been, humans were barbaric, you know what I mean? Like, even worse. Like, even just in the 1800s, in the old Western days, like the murder rate was
Sure
huge compared to what it is now. You know what I mean? And there was way less people, but people were being murdered all the time. You know what I mean? Nonstop.
1200s were shitty times. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, so maybe it was really bad back then, and that's why they showed up and they kind of, you know, did their thing, and I don't know, created, knowing they got to know. I mean, aliens are smart enough to know that, hey, when we do interact with these people, this is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Right? Don't you think?
They're going to run for the hills and try to deny that we're even there. Yeah.
No. They're going to worship us. They're going to think we're gods. They're going to pray to us. They're going to do all this stuff. They know that that's going to be our response. I mean, even if they were to come down today, you know, there's going to be a huge population of people that start worshiping them and start praying to them, or start, you know, your wish is my command, and totally like, I will kill their side. I will kill any human you want me to. You know what I mean? Whatever you want. You know what I mean?
That's how it works in politics today, right? You're right or left, and if you're die hard, man. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I will wear my MAGA hat all day now because of that guy. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works.
Right.
So,
all right, dude. We should call it though.
All right. Good topic. This
have you heard my cat this entire time, by any chance?
No, I have not heard a cat.
Because I locked her out, and then she's staring at me, meowing. Just piece of shit. Yeah. Anyways.
All right,
brother, man. I appreciate it. It's fun.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you later.